Hey everyone, welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nissa and today we are building our first exotic animals for King Island Zoo. This will both be the capybara and the Galápagos Giant Tortoise. So if you want to learn about these beautiful animals or simply see how I built this habitat, then please keep watching. Okay guys, I just want to mention that as some of you guys noticed, I haven't made any mud videos this week. I just haven't really been feeling that great, so hopefully I will feel better and start doing those again hopefully next week, but I can't really promise anything. It's just like if I'm really not feeling too great, then I won't be happy about anything, and I don't want to dunk on a mud because I'm not feeling great, if you understand what I mean. I want to be kind of impartial when I look at them, and I kind of hope that you appreciate that and don't hate me for that. Okay, I know this habitat isn't that big, but I actually intended to make it even smaller, so I wanted something kind of small to be on the corner. But because I wanted to make this multiple habitat, just to bring in some more life, and I think often it makes a habitat look better to have multiple different inhabitants. And at the same time, the Galápagos Giant Tortoise may fascinate a lot of the older generation. Me, I would love them. If I brought a kid to watch them, they may not find them interesting for long, but the capybaras have a really high cuteness factor, so I think that would kind of balance that, so the kids would kind of look more to the capybara, where the adults and older generations can look at both. I could of course also have gone with a much bigger population of capybaras in here, and therefore even bigger habitat, but I decided to go with this kind of small group. We have 5 adult individuals, only 1 male, and that's simply because I wanted to balance it out with the tortoises. Of course, we know we will give a baby boom at some point with these tortoises, but besides that, we will have this balance where we have 2 adult tortoises only. So I didn't want to have 2 adult tortoises and then 20 adult capybaras, making the habitat so big, and then you may have to look for a while to find the tortoises because there's not a lot of them, or not a lot of the adult ones. Where here, because I tried to have the numbers kind of even, not precisely even, but kind of even, then it will be easier to just look and spot both species. I also make a little things in here to just hide the animals. We have a lot of bushes where the young can hide in, but we also have like a building in the middle so the animals can kind of go around it, go within it, do what they want to do. Even though the guests can see them from everywhere, the animals won't feel like they are watched from every angle at once. Normally, if I want to go very tropical, I like to go with these really reddish brown wood colors, but because I decided early on that this zoo will have a lot of these lighter wood colors, so I won't change the wood. I will still make a new color of wood for this habitat, but it will still be light and match with these kind of yellow tones that we have for the other habitats. Instead, I went in and actually made my more brown, reddish, orangey colorations going on here with the pool and with the floor of their houses and the pillars of their houses to make this nice combining thing. We will of course also have a few trees in here. They will be natural wood color of course, and then their green leaves and such, and use as many colorful flowers in here as possible. We have too much foliage for the tortoises, but since we have really enough space in here, and we do at the same time also have enough space for just everyone, And the capybaras really like foliage, so we will go with a few trees and then just flower bomb and bush bomb the entire habitat. I'm not sure I should say bush bomb, but I did. And I really like the feel you get with it. It's not overgrown because you don't have these giant trees in there, but it just feels very lush and very tropical with all of these plants kind of mushed into each other. This habitat is swimming area with the next over. I haven't decided which animal yet, so if I'm gonna go with something carnivorous or something really big, then I probably will put something else so they won't see each other as they will through this. But if it's gonna be just a smaller animal or herbivore or something like that, a deer for instance, well then I think it's very great that when they swim and they dive they can actually see each other when they share the same swimming area. These glass walls will be used all around the habitat. Not the fence though, but the glass walls, and as you can see we go with this light wood color once again to make it fit with all of the other habitats, but again this is a different light wood color than the other, so it looks like these are different types of wood but in the same color scheme. Just to not confuse anyone, the capybara and the Galápagos Giant Tortoise do actually not live the same places in real life. One fact being that the Galápagos Giant Tortoise is limited to only 6 different Galapagos Islands, where the capybara do not live on those islands. However, they are still living in South America, which would be Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Uruguay and Venezuela. Sorry about that. They also live in roughly the same places, biome and climate wise. They both only stay within the tropical climate zones and they both live in the forest. However, where the Galápagos Giant Tortoise also live in places like scrubland and grassland, the capybara tends to turn more towards rainforest, savanna, but also a lot of these watery areas such as rivers, lakes, freshwater swamps, riparians, marsh and wetlands. So yeah, these can certainly live together, and that's also why for the game I went with only tropical plants, because I thought that was the things they could agree on. So I didn't go with, for instance, grassland and aquatic, which the capybara are listed as using in the game, because I just wanted to keep both animals happy. Once again, I do use a lot more foliage than the tortoises would like, but once again, I have too much space in here, so it would, in real life, animals would not be angry with too much foliage unless it will limit their movements in some way. Both of these animals have actually a secondary name. For the Galápagos Giant Tortoise, the Galápagos Giant Tortoise is actually their secondary name. Here they are first and foremost listed as the Galápagos Tortoise, and that's really because even though there probably are multiple different tortoises there, this is the big fella that kind of just holds the area. When you think of a tortoise from Galapagos, this is the one you think about. The capybara and the version of the capybara we have in the game is also known as the the greater capybara, which is of course because we also have a lesser capybara. So this is the big variation of that, with a average weight of between 35 and 66 kilos, being between 77 and 145.2 pounds. Just to compare our little fella here with the shell, on the other side we have a total weight of 136 to 260 kilos, being around 299.2 to 572 pounds. So clearly, even though the capybara looks much bigger here in the game and will also appear bigger in real life, because of the base build of the tortoises, they are simply so much heavier. And since it's not so often that we get a chance to compare these two very different animals, then just let's continue. And why don't we look at something as their lifespan? Because a capybara, cute as it is, it only lived between 6 and 12 years, where the Galápagos Giant Tortoise live for between 100 and 170 years. We can also add the top speed, which is calculated to 0 kilometers per hour for the Galápagos Giant Tortoise, being again 0 miles per hour. But for the capybara, it's have a top speed of 35 kilometers per hour, being 22 miles. These different comparisons doesn't really seem to have a lot to do with each other individual, but these actually show the same thing. These animals are made in different ways, of course, but there is a specific reason for this. The Galápagos Giant Tortoise wouldn't be able to live as long if it had to live faster. Every animal that moves fast, it takes a toll on your body. I know we talk about a lot with humans that it's healthy to work out, and it certainly is. I highly recommend it. It is healthy. We can all agree on that. But the thing is that there's a difference between work out just to stay healthy and work out to work out as much as possible. Some of these animals, remember, animals don't warm out. They just have to explode with speed when they do. The capybara, if it's a jaguar appears, it simply just can't look at the jaguar and say, "Oh, sorry, wait a minute, I just need to, I'm just stretching here. Yes, now I'm ready. Go." They kind of just have to be able to run right away, where the tortoise simply aren't built to speed out of the way, but just built once again extremely compact, so their best defense is their own bone structure. And it's kind of hard to compete with bones. Bones are really, really hard. And even for animals that are kind of soft, like the capybara, if their bones were the outer shell and the thing that the animals would have to pierce through before they could hurt them, then the capybara would probably also have a longer lifespan. So again, these different features really, really work really well for the different kinds of life these have. This is also why, for instance, the capybara needs to be able to breathe fast. All rodents are built in this way, where they just breathe fast because they need to be able to breathe before they die. If you imagine only living for 6 or 12 years, but not being able to breathe more than every second year or so, or simply having to live for quite a few years before you are even able to start breathing, like the giant tortoises, then you would just get into a completely different situation where your species probably wouldn't survive. But because they are able to breathe that fast, it's not an issue in the same way that they die so fast. And it's kind of funny because I remember in school we actually talked about the idea between K and R strategist, which is, I believe, K strategist, or like humans, we get 1, 2, 3 children at most. I mean, on average. And then we make sure we spend pretty much our entire lives making sure that those few offsprings survive. We are taking care of those babies. And then there are the R strategists that just plunder out babies and babies and babies. They don't take care. A lot of fish do this very well. A lot of plants do this very well, where they just throw out baby after baby after baby after baby. Some mice can reproduce more than 100 offsprings, I believe, in a few months or so, maybe a year. And this is just the strategy. They do not care for any of their kids because they simply have too many to be able to. But because they give birth to so many, odds are at least a few of them will survive long enough to reproduce on their own. And what I have seen as extremely fascinating here is that the capybara clearly is a or strategist, just throwing out babies as many as they can. However, with a little slower than other rodents, since they do actually have a mating season, but they are or strategists, getting as many babies as possible within their lifespan. Where the Galápagos Giant Tortoise is kind of weird because it will get a lot of babies. It will, but they don't get a lot at the time, and there is a long way between their babies. So they will actually have time to take partially care of the babies, though they will not take care for their babies like throughout the baby's lifespan. Anyway, this was a short video, so I don't have more time to speak to you guys. I link information for both animals below, and as always, I recommend you do go and learn more about them. So for now, guys, enjoy the cinematics, and I will of course come back afterwards. Okay guys, it's all I got for you today. I know it was a little short and sweet, but that's what we're gonna go with. So yeah, I really liked the result and I really hope you liked it too. As always guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe and turn on the bell and notifications so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys!